All right, let's talk about what's happening in basketball because this is huge. A massive Saudi-backed league is coming, and they're reportedly ready to drop a $50 million offer on the table for one person, Caitlin Clark. This isn't just a rumor anymore. It's a full-blown movement called Project B, and it's poised to change everything we know about professional women's basketball. To really get what's going on, you have to understand the pressure cooker that the WNBA has become lately. There's been a lot of internal conflict, with players like Nafisa Collier being really vocal. She's been calling out the league's commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, especially about the intense physicality of the game. Collier even started a war of words after she got badly hurt in the playoffs from what many called a Bush League play by Alyssa Thomas. She wasn't the only one feeling it. The whole league is also staring down the barrel of a new collective bargaining agreement, a new CBA, and those negotiations are always tense. This brings us to Caitlin Clark and the season she just had. Anyone who watched knows she took an absolute beating on the court. It wasn't just tough basketball. It was a level of physicality that had a lot of people wondering if she'd look for other options. The constant hard fouls and muggings on the court fueled a ton of speculation. For a minute, people thought she might jump to unrivaled. That's the new 3x3 league co-founded by Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart. It seemed like a possibility, a way for her to play ball without the same kind of grind. But ultimately, that was just talk. Unrivaled is one thing, but Project B is a whole different beast. This new league, Project B, is the one that's really turning heads. At first, a lot of people thought it was fake news. The idea of a league powerful enough to compete with the NBA and WNBA seemed impossible. But the details started firming up, and it became clear this was very real. The project has been in the works for a while, over 2 years in the making. Initially, Maverick Carter, LeBron James's longtime business partner, was involved as a consultant. That connection alone made everyone take notice. People were talking about it for months. This idea of an international men's and women's league that could pose a real threat to the establishment. Now, reports say Carter is no longer part of the plans, at least for now, which sparked some confusion. But the venture is moving full steam ahead without him. The man driving it now is Grady Burnett, a former executive from Google and Facebook. He co-founded this thing, and he's not shy about his ambitions. He told The Athletic that the growth in women's sports rivals anything in AI right now, calling it truly majestic. He believes Project B can be a multi-billion-dollar business, and they're starting with the women. A men's league is still a possibility, maybe launching as soon as next fall, but the immediate focus is on the women's game because of its immense growth. There have even been conversations with stars like Nikola Jokic about a men's version, and some think LeBron himself might play in it after he retires from the NBA. So what does this league actually look like? It's not your traditional setup. It's being described as a worldwide women's basketball tour. There will be 6 teams, each with 11 players. That's only 66 roster spots in the entire league, making it incredibly exclusive. Instead of a regular season with home and away games, the teams will compete in 7 different 2-week tournaments. These tournaments will take place in major cities all across the globe, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. The whole thing is set to be headquartered in Singapore. The season will run from November through April. This schedule is a genius move. It completely avoids a direct overlap with the WNBA season, meaning players could theoretically do both. However, it puts them in direct conflict with Unrivaled, the other upstart league. Now, let's get to the most important part, the money. This is where it gets insane. Project B is being funded by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund through a partnership with their entertainment company, Sela. If that sounds familiar, it's the same model used for LIV Golf, which completely disrupted the PGA Tour by throwing unimaginable amounts of money at golfers. They're doing it again. The people behind this league are talking about having unlimited funds. One person told a story about how Lil Wayne was in Saudi Arabia for a concert and was gifted a Lamborghini just because of a minor inconvenience at the airport. That's the level of wealth we're dealing with. They're not just trying to be profitable in year one. They're willing to lose money to make a splash and build a global brand. Some call it sports washing, a way for the country to improve its public image through sports. But for the players, it just means life-changing money. The salaries they're promising are, in the words of co-founder Grady Burnett, multiplies higher than anything that exists in professional sports right now, not just basketball. We're talking about contracts that could be worth up to $50 million. Let that sink in. $50 million. One report gave a hypothetical. A player making a solid $150,000 in the WNBA could be offered $1.5 million from Project B. Think about someone like Paige Buchers, who is slated to make around $100,000 for her first 4 years in the WNBA. How could she possibly turn down an offer of $10 or $20 million? The average salary in this new league is expected to be around $1 million, with a minimum contract possibly around $300,000. And there will be no salary cap. This financial power is why Project B is such a threat. The WNBA simply cannot compete with those numbers. The timing couldn't be worse for the WNBA, as they're heading into those tough CBA negotiations. The league wants to push for exclusivity, to keep its players from competing elsewhere. But how can they demand that when another league is offering 10, 20, or even 100 times the salary? To make matters worse for the WNBA, almost all of their veteran players who aren't on rookie-scale contracts will be free agents this offseason. The door is wide open for Project B to come in and scoop up top talent. And they're not waiting. This isn't just a plan for the future. The bombshell report is that Project B has already started negotiating with WNBA stars. In fact, they have already signed some WNBA players to contracts. We don't know who yet, but the deals are being made right now. To legitimize the whole operation, they've brought in some serious basketball royalty. The chief basketball officer will be Alana Beard, a 4-time WNBA All-Star. And the list of investors and advisors is stacked. WNBA legend Candace Parker is heavily involved, and her presence is seen as key to the whole strategy. Alongside her are NFL Hall of Famer Steve Young and tennis superstars Novak Djokovic and Sloane Stephens. This isn't a small-time operation. It's a global sports powerhouse in the making. This all circles back to one person who can make or break this entire venture, Caitlin Clark. Everyone agrees the success of this league depends on her. If they can sign Caitlin Clark, the league becomes an instant global phenomenon. If they can't, it's a much tougher road. This is why the $50 million number keeps getting thrown around in connection with her name. She has more leverage than any player in the history of the women's game. She could probably ask for a Ronaldo or Messi-type deal, not just a massive salary, but an equity stake in the league itself. And it's not just about her. She could essentially build her own super team. Imagine her agent going to Project B and saying, Caitlin will sign, but she wants Aya Wilson, she wants Sabrina Ionescu, she wants Aaliyah Boston, and she wants Angel Reese in the league too. Project B would have no choice but to make it happen. They could go to Aya Wilson and offer her $5 million to play in the offseason. They could go to Angel Reese, who made a reported $500,000 from Unrivaled, and offer up to 10 times that. The money is so big, it's almost impossible to refuse. And for Clark, the appeal is more than just cash. The league is 5v5 basketball, her natural game, unlike the 3v3 format of Unrivaled. It's a global stage, a chance to become an even bigger international brand, all while playing in a league that will treat her like the generational talent she is. So, while we've seen Caitlin Clark on social media recently, congratulating her teammate Aaliyah Boston on her All-WNBA selection, the entire basketball world is holding its breath, waiting for her decision on this. Will she stay loyal to the WNBA, the league that made her a household name? Or will she take the unprecedented offer from Project B, a move that would send shockwaves through the entire sports world and instantly legitimize a new global powerhouse? It's a monumental decision, not just for her career, but for the future of women's basketball. The landscape is changing, the money is flowing, and Caitlin Clark is standing right at the center of it all. What do you guys think she should do? Is this new league the future? Or is it a threat to the foundation of women's sports? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This story is just getting started, and it's going to be a wild ride. If you want to stay updated, make sure to like this video, Hype it up for the algorithm, and definitely subscribe to the channel and hit those notification bells. We'll be covering every twist and turn as it happens. Thanks for watching.